I've always loved horses. My horse Nakota helps me notice the details in behavior and energy that build trust between humans and horses. Over time, our relationship has guided my work with other horse-human partnerships. I've learned that mutual respect and patience will always achieve a stronger connection than any one-size-fits-all training exercise. I believe in the power of a dialogue with horses. If you listen carefully, their honesty will mirror your hopes and speak to your soul. Every day, I help improve the communication between horses and people. This 18-hand Canadian sport horse expresses his feelings by biting his owner.
No, don't, no.
People get very direct about what they want to accomplish that day, and they forget about the fact that the horse is a creature with a heart, a soul, a mind, and they live in the moment.
I raised him, so he does think of me as his mom. I just want to be able to enjoy him and not have him anxious. I've considered selling him. I've even gone to the point where somebody has agreed to buy him and made an offer. So it's been really challenging for me, very challenging. I would love to have someone's perspective on what's going on, because clearly what I've been trying isn't working.
You've had him all of his life. Were you the one who trained him?
No, I had a professional come in and work with him, but I just was uncomfortable because he seemed always so anxious, and he's a very laid-back horse.
Okay. When we started out at the paddock, which is where I wanted to start watching the normal habits come out, I think her opinion of it is that it's naughty so far, that she's seeing that he's misbehaving or giving her trouble about putting the halter on.
Go for a ride? There we go.
Walking him into the barn and getting to the cross ties is where some of the real challenges start to really come out.
No bell.
She did mention that today was a rather mild day with him, and so it was interesting to see, even on a mild day, he still gives her trouble. When he's chomping at her shirt, when he's busy on the bridle, that's when he gets the most attention from Vicky. If Bellator realizes that he is being heard and that we can take our time and listen to his feedback and respond accordingly, I think that a lot of these things are going to start to change for Vicky and for Bellator. The following week's session began in the paddock. First step in the process, slow the tempo and relax. Let's just spend a few sessions really being in the moment with Bellator and hanging out at his pace.
Okay.
You want to come out here, slow down, leave behind what you need to get done after your riding session. Okay, did you hear that?
Yeah. His relaxed breathing.
A relaxed breath.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a horse who was, let's go, we're going to do something. I got to match this energy. And as soon as we slowed down, he actually took a little breath or a sigh. That's his way of showing that he's starting to come down a little bit. He's trying to slow down and relax. And there's a lot of yawning happening right now too.
Which tells
so
you...
we're getting to the source right now of some stress. He's trying to release some stress, and the way that I'm grabbing at his face right now, he's definitely not happy about. And we're just trying to put a halter on. You wouldn't think that was that stressful, would you?
You wouldn't.
As a young horse and being a gelding, he's got sort of some colt behavior a little bit, very oral, and I certainly don't want to punish the play out of him. My only thing that I'm trying to accomplish right now is to be able to have him not grab at the lead rope while my hand is near his face. I think he's enjoying this now.
Yeah, it's a great game.
What do you think?
It's a great game.
It's a great game. He's like, I love this game. What do you think about that? Okay, Okay, he knows his halter's on right now.
Yes, he does. Look at
So
his face.
he just changed. He went, oh.
Drag.
So if I can get him quiet for that moment and then reward him with something he wants to do, we're gonna start to teach him there's something in it for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Could it have been related to wearing equipment like a crank nose band and a flash?
Right on, Vicky. I mean, I think you're right on with that. This horse has been shut down. He's been prevented from giving feedback. Even though you don't use a flash, he lives right now in the moment, and he'll have memory of how that felt. You see how that's working for him?
That's a good game, isn't
I think that more play and less stress will solve some of Bellator's issues. I suspect that his biting is a symptom of his anxieties.
it? Okay.
On my next visit, Vicky was upbeat about her progress and was eager for a new challenge, the mounting block. And then while you're putting his ears through, we just remind him that being However, things often get worse before getting better.
Bellator, get up! Boy.
Bellator refuses to approach the arena because he associates work with stress.
Stop! He was saying I'm having none of this and tried to drag me off property through the manure.
It's amazing to see how much energy... Bellator isn't aggressive. He just wants to be heard, so he bites to relieve stress. And we just want to start addressing that. Good. We're going to get quiet until he thinks what's going on right now. Ready? You can do some T-touch on his ear if you want and see if that settles him, quiets him. Just relax. Good. And then he's in your space. Vicky felt confident about leading Bellator to the mounting block for a ride in the arena. Unfortunately, he had other plans.
Bell! Let go!
Did you get your arm?
No.
I decided to end our session before anyone got hurt. When I led him over to the mounting block, I sat down and everything in me was grounded. I wanted to keep my own energy and my emotions very relaxed and very quiet. I need to be a good influence on this horse to see what would get through to him beyond the stressed out horse and into the thinking side of his mind.
It was sort of a minor irritating problem that he had, and this horse that sort of came out at the session that day was not familiar to me at all. It was really upsetting. In fact, I felt like we'd lost him forever. I was pretty upset even later in the evening. I went out to his paddock and he always runs to the gate, and he turned his back and walked away, which was, wow, after 7 years, that was a bit of a shock.
Vicky was almost ready to give up on Bellator, but she persevered. With a bit of patience and teamwork, Vicky and Bellator will find their stride. There. So even though we love that his mouth is quiet, we're going to do it again. So I'm going to ask for him to let go of the bit. I think that Bellator is definitely feeling like he's being heard now. He's developing more patience at the same time as Vicky. So what he needs to trust is that my hands on the bit does not hurt. And he needs to learn how to trust my hands. Good. The crank flash noseband was used to keep him from avoiding strenuous amounts of pressure in his mouth so that people could do whatever they wanted with that bit and he could not get away from it. Do you feel that he's rideable today? Bellator is actually approaching the mounting block with some responsibility. He understands that it's his job to line up. And Vicky's giving him more time and space to get there and to be right, rather than micromanaging him all the way to the block. Good. She has less to do, and he has more to do, and yet they're both happy with that. Now that Vicky understands a little bit more about Bellator's stressors and the triggers that set him off, it's easier for her to understand what she can ask of him and what maybe she should slow down and wait a little bit longer for.
I feel good. I think we're on our way to building a stronger partnership. I now have some tools that'll help me, and I've got a ton more to learn. I'm going to continue working with Jessica. So I'll be learning some new activities and playing with him and enjoying him.
Bellator's always had a voice, but it was very hard for him to be heard. And now that Vicky's becoming a better listener, the two of them are going to go much further together. Auctions are a final finish line for many horses. I'm here today to rescue a horse for adoption. I only wish that I could save them all. With all of these horses, we're looking at their legs, we're looking at their knees, we're looking at the chests, the shoulders, their hips. I'm hoping that I'm going to find someone that is quiet, and especially if one of them speaks out to me. So to me, this horse is no younger than 8, probably no older than 15. 35 and 36, 36, 35, and 14, 22, there's a tattoo. So this is a standard bred that's been to the track. Say hi. It's common to find unwanted former racehorses at auction. Buyers here are reluctant to invest in their rehabilitation due to their uncertain history. This guy right here, I've been watching him and he's pretty quiet. He softens to the handler. We want to make sure that he's not sick, but I'm getting the feeling that he's quiet because he's pretty submissive and he just wants to sort of curl up and disappear right now. Number 1373's gentle presence stole my heart. But the auction wasn't over and we needed to win the bidding war against the meat buyers. Tension was high. It came down to the wire, but we saved our horse. I couldn't wait to free him. Hi. We're going home together and the future looks bright. That's good, yeah. We arrived at the Foster farm and when he saw the pasture, he knew he was safe. We all did. The timing was amazing. We got him off the trailer, put him in the paddock, and the clouds opened up. We stood and watched him as he was bathed by nature, if you will, and I think he started a good part of his cleansing. He doesn't seem to care whatsoever about the other horses around him. He's just happy with where he is. To get this horse healthy again, we first need to restore his weight. And until we've assessed his medical condition, he'll remain in quarantine. The vet will determine when he's ready for adoption. I've had a little more time to take a look closer at him. He has a severe dent in the skull on his forehead, and you can see the misshapen ribs. None of them are broken or fractured, but they've been dislocated. This is a great example of what happens when they have an accident. I can actually see some dots here that look like old stitch lines from stitches. He may have had this taken care of right away when it happened. I can see that somebody has taken the time to care for his feet and maintain them. This is his auction number. and it was worn by every horse in there on their hips or their bellies, and it's to describe who he is so that you can bid on him, and this was the magical number that freed him yesterday. That feels awesome. Throw that away. When I got to the barn on Monday, I saw him standing in the sun, and he was very obviously uncomfortable. All of his legs were really swollen. His whole body was cooking hot, and he was very lethargic, and he had no ambition whatsoever, and he looked like he was kind of giving up on us a little bit. So it was a tough weekend. We found out just very recently that what's been wreaking havoc on his body has been E. coli. So Mr. Prospero has been either drinking from a very dirty source of water, or he's been around some contaminants, bird feces, that kind of stuff. We slowly discovered the full scope of Prospero's ailments: pneumonia, lung infection, hives, stomach ulcers. The vet prescribed a treatment program, and I tended to his day-to-day comfort. We've been walking him quite a bit to help get the swelling out of his legs, and he's needed a little bit of cold hosing, and we put a towel over his back and soak it down with water to try and cool him off during the day. We've had some hot weather lately, and it hasn't been easy for him. The vet prescribed a program of antibiotics for Prospero, and with her guidance, we'll nurse him back to health with a smoothie of holistic supplements and plenty of love. I know this isn't your favorite. This is the magic juice for Prospero. It's hopefully doing its job and assisting in defeating the bacterial infection that he's up against right now. So we're helping him win the battle here. I know. It tastes bad. Today is his third day without antibiotics, and he's doing so well, and it's such a relief to see him with a great appetite and walking around in his pasture and having enough energy to run and play a little bit. So I'm thrilled to see that he's actually headed in the right direction. He seems to have turned a corner. He's actually opened up one layer after another, and he's become a completely different horse. I was walking through the auction, and Prospero jumped out at me. He was standing there waiting for me, and I saw a horse who needed a second chance. Every horse in that auction could have come home with me that day, but Prospero had something special about him that I saw. A horse who was willing to give it a try and to fight for his own life if I gave him the opportunity. We're at Horse Spirit Connections to learn about equine-facilitated psychotherapy. 12-year-old Olin is about to discover the healing power of horses.
Olin is here because he has some anxiety disorders.
Since he was little, even at his birthday parties, he would be a kid that didn't want to be the center of attention. Like, he didn't like it. He wanted to have the birthday party, but he didn't really want anyone to notice him.
I'm expecting the horses to kind of interact with me and help me kind of realize that the fear isn't really real and nothing bad is actually going to happen.
I'm going to ask you to go around on your own and just connect with each of the horses and just see which horse resonates with you the most. Each horse has its own personality, its own gifts that they have developed as a teacher. It's really the horses, in some ways, choose the person that they're going to work with.
Everybody takes something different from horses because they speak to us as individuals. So when you have your moment in that pen with that horse today, you'll feel it, and I can't wait to be able to see that and learn from it as well.
Yeah, I feel like a connection to the horse.
Exactly, yeah, the connection. That's what we're all hoping for.
Well, we work with the horses where the horses are the therapists and the teachers. And we as people are just facilitating that incredibly profound relationship that develops between the horse and the human. So that's one of the gifts that they have as teachers, is really mirroring through their body language and their nonverbal communication. And they really are relating to who we are underneath. And so it gives, especially young people, more confidence to be who they are.
What I found so unique about your situation with that horse, every time you got a little uncomfortable, you moved your feet quite a bit. She perfectly represented your sense of doubt or your sense of nervousness. Thanks for sharing that with me.
So this activity is really great about how you take your energy out into your world. This is your key to letting Angelina know how fast you want her to go. Okay. Whether it's at a walk or at a trot. And then to stop her, it's bringing this up and backing up and bowing off that center a little bit. Do you want to try that? Sure. Good. As soon as you get a walk, now I want you to do a trot. Being around horses, this 1,000-pound animal, really helps youth and adults learn to stand their ground. Learning to respect a horse's personal space, I think they start to learn to respect their own personal space and the value of being able to set boundaries. The youth that come here and to work with the horses find that they're not being held in judgment. So that the horses are just accepting them who they are in their richness of who they are, and that's okay. First thing that Olin's going to be doing is just observing the horses, getting familiar with their herd behavior, and maybe getting some reflections from that, and then merging with their herd. So he becomes one of the horses in their herd. This way of being with the horses really helps them learn confidence and how they are communicating all the time, not just with their words, but with their body.
He's learning to be calm, and that brings things down, and I think that's going to do really well in his relationship with his brother and his relationship with me.
My job is to help people and horses communicate and have conversations. Do you feel like horses can actually talk with us?
Yes.
Yeah? When that horse helps you ground yourself a little bit, feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I felt like we were really connecting. Yeah, I would want to spend much more time with horses. I really enjoy their company. It really helped me, and I hardly feel anxious at all.
Who are they to tell you that you can't